Museveni amended the cabinet by putting in some new people and also did a reshuffle in the Uganda People's Defence Force, where he appointed his son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, as the Commander Defence Force. The Commander Defence Force, I think, is the second from the president, because the president commands all the forces in the country, including the police, but the CDF is responsible for the defence force. And in this position, he appointed Muhoozi Kainerugaba. We all know that for a long time, Museveni has tried to build his son as a preferred successor. And I've ever done a video telling you on how Muhoozi was built and on how Muhoozi will never be president of the country. If you missed that video, I'm going to leave a link here in the description. First of all, last week, a few days back, Muhoozi Kainerugaba was appointed as the Commander Defence Force. But at the ceremony of his swearing in, the press was not allowed in the precinct where the ceremony was going to be held. And to be specific, when Museveni appointed Muhoozi Kainerugaba, he made sure that his brother SALIM SALEH was the one to convey the pips on Muhoozi Kainerugaba. So in this episode, I've come to talk about the politics behind Muhoozi's appointment as the new CDF, what it means for the country, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagali. There's a lot of content of this nature. So last week, Muhoozi Kainerugaba saw in as the Commander Defence Force, but the press was barred from covering that function. In fact, the press showed cars of Muhoozi Kainerugaba leaving the precincts of Guru Barracks after his swearing in.
Of office, you handing over to and the General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has successfully seen the office of the Chief of Defence Forces of the APDF.
But at this function, there are some remarks which were made by SALIM SALEH. SALIM SALEH is an uncle or a brother to John Museveni, who made some remarks on Muhoozi's appointment. First of all, he welcomed him back to the army, as if he has not always been in the army. But also, he congratulated him upon being elevated to the post of Commander Defence Force. Before I speak on this in entirety, let me first give you the tape when SALIM SALEH was making these remarks. Here's the tape.
General Mbade, I did, this was like, I have never attended many handover and takeover, but this one you have qualified yourself as the future Minister of Trade. Because you have packaged, you have arranged, you have marketed UPDF to its maximum. So, asante sana. And to General MK, we are so happy to see you back in the uniform because you had gotten lost in the recent Nani. So guys, you clap for General MK's return. He should also clap for us for accepting him to return. The man had just jumped out of our bag and he was something else, but now he's completely... So I asked him, man, have you come back for good? He says, for sure, I have come back for good. So I had prepared a lot of documents for him, but the most important one is the Musevenomics.
So that is SALIM SALEH. First of all, you clearly see that in a bid to build Muhoozi as the next president, first, the army started to be appointed in parliament. I know the army has a representation of 9 MPs in parliament, but every CDF, at least 90% of all CDFs the Commander Defense Forces have been appointed in Parliament. Mbadi, the predecessor of Muhoozi, is appointed in Parliament. Muhoozi, the State Minister for Internal Affairs, is the former CDF, is in Parliament. And remember, they are still serving army officers. General Katumba Wamala is a former CDF and also is still a serving member of Parliament, a serving UPDF soldier, is in Parliament. Okay. Nyakairima Delete was appointed after being dropped as a CDF in Parliament. So you clearly see that a precedent was set that most CDFs are appointed in Parliament. And the point of bringing them in Parliament is to also capture the Parliament, because now the Parliament will be having very many serving army personnel in Parliament, which is, by the way, unconstitutional. Second, by appointing Muhoozi Kainerugaba as the CDF, first of all, General Museveni is, by the next cycle of an election, will be 82. 82 by the standard of our lifespan is being too old. And I think he envisions transiting to his son. And there is no better way of transiting to his son other than appointing him as the CDF, because the army has always been a pillar at the center of our politics. Okay? By putting in some army officials in Parliament and appointing the son to head the CDF, I'm also waiting to see who will be the next AIGP. I'm sure he will be from the army. He's continuing to build a base on how to grip on the country. I know very many reasons, very many voices of reasons have not come on to speak about this. But Uganda is sliding to abyss. Very many countries which have had a history of transiting to families have always run into turmoil. And I'm envisioning this to happen in Uganda. I know for sure I don't want this to happen. But let's be sure as day follows night that it will happen, basing on how General Museveni is playing Russian roulette with our country. Okay? I know I had opted to get a natural transition which is not engineered by General Kaguta Museveni. And one may ask, what is a natural transition? A natural transition means even though General Muhoozi wants to be president, he resigns from the army, goes to the people, stands up in an election, versing the people's president Robert Kyagulanyi Obesije, and we are able to select the winner. But the issue of building General Muhoozi as a preferred successor at the expense of other people, we all know that there are very many voices which have been jailed since the 2021 general election. And since we are heading even in the 2026 general election, because it's around the corner, the appointment of General Muhoozi as the CDF must not be put out in isolation, because the CDF manages the security of the country plus the police. So by appointing General Muhoozi as the CDF, it also brings out the conflict of interest, because he will be guarding his father not to lose power. Okay? And I feel bad that the people who have voices in the country, the people who are supposed to shape the direction of this country, keep quiet, because when they fear that General Museveni will come after them, some of them fear to lose some of their jobs. So the appointment of General Museveni the appointment of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba is a curse to our country. It is a sign that democracy is still a dream for as far as the country Uganda is concerned. Of course, that's my opinion. Do drop me your comments by commenting about this. Thank you very much for listening in. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, I implore you to subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.